On the Axis Trace page, the user can record and analyze speed, pressure and stroke of axis movements. Let us take a closer look at the page. To enable trace recording, we first need to enable the highlighted checkbox. Alternatively, we can also simply click on any of the 5 standard recording settings, which will automatically activate trace recording, but also set the axis, direction, and trace mode settings. The 5 standard recording settings are injection, plastification, mold open and close, and ejector movement. If desired, it's also possible to set up an axis trace manually. In the highlighted drop-down list, the user can first select which axis will be recorded. The choice is between injection, mold, carriage unit, and ejector. Next, in the highlighted drop-down, the user selects in which direction the recording will be made. It's possible to record in positive or negative direction, or combined in both directions. Lastly, we need to select the trace mode in the highlighted drop-down. The user can choose between a single-shot recording, which will only record the next movement, or, periodically, making a new recording every cycle. In the middle we have the graph area, for speed, pressure and stroke. Let's for example select the standard setting for ejector, and make an ejector movement. The movement was completed, but until we configure the graph range, we can't see any trace lines. The graph range can be configured on the bottom of the page, in a simple way, by clicking the automatic view buttons for each axis. If needed, the user can also manually adjust the upper and lower limits, in the highlighted input fields. Now, if we repeat the ejector movement, we can see the graph forming in real time. If we look at the graph, we see that the movement is done around the 3 seconds mark. Since we know how long the movement lasts, we can shorten the recording time, to get a more detailed view. This can be done in the highlighted input field, so let's go ahead and change it to 3 seconds. To clear the old graph, we can click on the reset button. If we repeat the movement one more time, we see it takes the whole length of the graph, and is easier to read. On the pressure graph, we can see 2 sets of curves, one light blue, and the other dark blue. These represent set and actual pressure values, and the same applies to the speed axis, if we take a more closer look. To get a reading of the value at any point of the graph, we simply need to click on the graph, and a set of cursors will appear. One cursor represents the set values of speed and pressure, and the other the actual values. If we want to delay the trace recording by a certain amount, we can do so by setting a delay timer in the highlighted input field. For example, delaying the recording by 1 second, the trace will start 1 second later. Now we can also see gray lines on the graph. These represent previous trace recordings. The 3 highlighted checkboxes are used to enable or disable individual graph recording. We hope this video tutorial was helpful. If you have any other questions regarding Axis Trace page, please leave a comment below, or contact us directly through our customer service channels. Thank you, and have a nice day.